I'll try to use. I'll try to speak slowly. You do understand English, yes?
Yeah.
Poco. Okay. Let's see. Now, the book that we're using is the Book of Shabbos. We have copies on the shelf. So we have this book, and it is doing page 123. And that is the Halacha of Borer. Borer means separating a mixture. Is this something that you are familiar with? Yes? Okay, so we could move a little on this. Okay, so so we have a mixture would be different kinds of items that are mixed together, and separating the mixture for later use is a malacha, is forbidden. If you are going to separate psoilus from eichel, psoilus is unwanted waste. Eichel is what you want, is food. So to give an exact example would be, if you have a mixture of salad, and inside the salad, there is a seed of lemon. So even when you are ready to eat it, if you're going to take out the seed, because that is psoilus, that is waste, so malacha was done. So that is a Torah prohibition. Separating a mixture, taking psoilus from eichel, taking what you don't want from food, that is a malacha. The same will also be if you have an egg salad and you have a shell of the egg in the salad, taking out the shell is a malacha. So what could you do? Leave it there, okay? What you could do is you could take with a portion, take some of the egg with the shell, and that you could take away because you didn't separate the mixture. The eggshell and the eggs are still together. The same will also be what happens if you are checking for leaves. And on the leaf, you have a bug, an insect. If there's a word that you don't know, someone will explain it in, so everyone knows what an insect is, yes? A bug, a worm. Okay. Now you have that on your leaf. So firstly, you should check your leaves before Shabbat. But if you didn't, so what could you do now? Throw the whole leaf out?
No salad.
What do we do with this? What do we do with the leaf? We throw the whole leaf out, or could we do something? What could we do? Tear off a piece of leaf together with the insect, together with the worm, and throw that away because you did not separate the mixture. The insect and the lettuce leaf are still together. It's only if you take the bug off, then you took off psoilus, the waste from the wood. Yes. Yes. You could tear the leaf. There's no wrong. You could tear up leaves. Okay. You're going to be eating it. You make the salad. You don't have to eat big salad. You could cut up the salad.
But other things you can't tear.
Oh, so food is not considered tearing. That's called making into small portions. Okay. Tearing paper is something else. Okay. So now you have on your challah, here in America, when you buy challah, they sometimes put on a sticker that says that it's kosher, that what kind of challah it is. So that is not anything that anybody wants to eat. So what do you do with the sticker when you want to eat the challah? What do?
You cut a piece of challah and
Together with it, take off a piece of challah together with the sticker, and then you eat the challah. The same thing is also going to be when you have here in America, you have on the fruits, apples, pears, peaches, you have a sticker. Tells you where it comes from. It comes from Peru, Ecuador. So they tell you it has a sticker. The same thing is also, many people will wash their fruit before Shabbat, before you put it in the bowl. But if you did not, now you have the fruit with the sticker on it. The same thing is also, what do? Take off a piece of fruit together with a sticker. So this would be examples of something that is pseudus, that is actually something that you do not want because it's waste. So even if you're going to be eating it right now, if you take off the pseudus metech eichel, if you take off what you don't want from what you want, that's always a malacha.
Can I ask you
Yes.
something? If, for example, in a salad there is onions, and I don't like onions.
Okay.
If I serve a spoon in my plate, can I separate it?
No.
Oh.
So you take what you want, you leave what you don't want behind the plate,
Okay.
still in the plate. So now, what you could do, as long as the mixture, you have a salad, you want tomatoes. So what would you do? Take the tomatoes and leave everything else behind of the bowl. Can you toss the salad that the tomatoes come on top? Is there any problem with that? Is there a problem with tossing the salad? You know what tossing the salad means? Is there any problem with tossing the salad? If you have a mixture, you don't want the onions there, whatever, is there any problem with this? No problem, because it's still a mixture. Nothing happened. You just make it first, it's on top, that's on the bottom. Nothing changed. It's still the same thing. That if you have in your plates, you have onions, you don't want them. So one or two things. What happens if you don't like the smell of the onions either? It's so bad, you not only do not like the onions, you don't like the smell of the onions. So you don't want it in your plate. One thing would be, take another plate and take all the salad that you want in the other plate and leave the onions behind. Or what's the second thing you can do? Ask your friend next to you if she likes onions. If she says yes, then she takes what she wants and you're allowed to give it to her as well, because it is something that is wanted. You don't want it, but the one who's sitting next to you does want it and is going to eat it. So you're allowed to serve somebody something that you do not like, because you are serving to someone who is going to eat this. Yes.
But if the salad has a lettuce and onion, and you're separating lettuce and the onion is, so we are separating one thing.
You could take what you want when you're ready to eat it. When you are ready to eat,
Even if it's one thing?
even if it's, yes.
Okay.
You take what you want, you leave what you don't want behind. That is not a malacha. That is fine. Now, if you have the cholent, it's called a mixture. You have meat and beans and potatoes and kishka. Everything is mixed together. Now, if you are going to be eating, you're going to be serving the cholent right now for this meal. Can you take separate bowls and take the potatoes in one bowl? You're separating now, taking potatoes in one bowl, taking the kishka in another bowl, meat in a third bowl, the beans in another bowl. Are you allowed to do that? You are separating the mixture. You taking the meat in one place, potatoes in another place, in a place. Can you do this?
It's okay.
I'm asking, is it fine or not fine? So it matters. If it's going to be served for the meal right now, then you're not separating a mixture. Everything is going to be eaten. There's no eichel, there's no psalus. It's all eichel. It is all wanted food, even though you are going to be eating it separately. But since you are going to be eating it at this meal, then it's not a malacha.
But for example, if I grab if I have all the stuff here, and I can serve it separately.
Serve it now.
Now,
No.
Ah,
You could not do it. You could not do it tonight and put them in different bowls because you're not eating the show on Friday night. But when you are ready to eat it for the meal that's going to be eaten now, then you could put them in separate bowls because everything is going to be used. Chamin. You know what chamin is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I
So
understand.
chamin, okay. So as long as it's going to be eaten now, you could separate it. You could not separate for a later time.
So on Friday night, I cannot separate it for Saturday.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
What if you only eat like one? So like let's say you separate it, but then like there's one that you don't eat.
As long as it was as long as you served it to be eaten, if people choose not to, that's their choice. But you served it in order to be eaten. It wasn't something you're putting everything on the table to be eaten. So as long as it's being served, then this is fine. Oh, so then you take what you want. If it goes according to your intention.
Right.
If you have, your intention was that you were going to eat each one, and then the end you did not wind up because everything was so delicious, you ate up the whole bowl of the other one before you got to the others. But it goes according to
The intention of separating, you can't do that.
That's
But
correct.
if you have
But-
the intention of like, if you're by yourself,
Yes.
but then if you just separate everything and then serve it, then that's different because then the other people have
Right.
their own intention.
But when you are going to be eating yourself, you take what you want, and that is what you're going to serve yourself.
So it will be okay if you have soup, so fish for like, do you want the carrot? Yes, and like grab the carrot, like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Yes. Now, so we have 4 situations that's called connected and separating for later time is a malacha. Number 1 is a mixture. We speak about the salad that's all mixed together. The second thing is that if you have 2 things that are attached to each other, you have fats and you have meat. Steak, and you have the fats that's attached to it. That's good. So what you could do is you don't have to eat the fats. What you do is you cut and take what you want, and what you don't want, you leave behind. If you cut a little slice of meat together with the fats, then the mixture is still together. You didn't comprehend it?
How can you make when you have little kids that they don't like anything?
Okay. Now, one second, little kid will come there 1 minute. Okay, we found this. So this is another situation where you have that it is attached. Then you have another situation is where they're not mixed together like a salad, but they're on a tray where you have different kinds that are next to each other and they become one unit. That's called a mixture. So you have a platter and you have the salami and bologna and pastrami and corned beef and roast beef. So even though you could see each one separately, it's considered a mixture. You take what you want, leave what you don't want behind. You cannot separate it out for later use. If you want to take all the salami and put it in a bag, that you cannot do because it's not being used now, it's being used for later, that cannot be done. A fourth situation is, now this malacha is not only for food, but it is also for different items that are mixed together. If you're going to be using now, take what you want and leave what you don't want behind. So let's take an example. You have something that's not food. Okay, you have here the halacha. We have days of we have less than Tanya. We have a siddur. So if you want to put it away, this is considered a mixture. What you could do is put everything away and take everything together and put that all on the shelf. If you want to take this, you want to use the Tanya, then when you're ready to take it, since this is all piled together, it's a mixture. So you take the Tanya and you use it.
Then you need to say it all
You
together.
take if you want to put it away, you put everything away together. If you want to use something, take what you
For the
want.
moment. If you
from-
want-
from the
if you
moment,
want to
right.
separate for tomorrow, no.
That's correct. Correct. Now, the same would also be with your spoons, knives, and forks. So spoons, knives, and forks are, if they are all together, that would be a mixture. So if you have them in your drawer and everything has a separate compartment, that's not a mixture. Everything is separate. So when you want to set the table Friday night for Shabbos day, so there is no mixture. As long as you're going to be using it on Shabbos, it's fine. So Friday night, you could take the cutlery, knives, spoons, and forks that are all in their own separate compartment. It's not to set your table. But if you washed your knives, spoons, and forks Friday night, so can you wash them? First of all, can you wash them? After Friday night, you finished eating, can you wash your spoons, knives, and forks?
Special sponge.
Okay, so first of all, can you wash them?
No, you have to do it right before you eat.
Can we wash them or not?
Yes. Rinse.
And the answer is, what do you want to use for Shabbat? If you're not going to be using spoons anymore, then why are you washing them? You're washing them for Motzei Shabbat. You're washing them for Sunday. You cannot do on Shabbos something that is needed for Sunday. So the spoons will be left behind. You will not wash them. If you will be using the spoons, whenever you will be time on Shabbat that you're going to be using on Shabbat itself. So Friday night, if you know what dishes you're going to be using tomorrow, what cutlery you will be using tomorrow, you could wash them. It has to be washed. There should not be any other malacha. So you have to use, if you want to use soap, you have to use a liquid soap that's portable. If you want to use something to scrub, it has to be a Shabbos scrubby that is very open. It does not keep the water. It does not absorb the water. So you could not use a regular sponge. You could use a scrubby. That's a Shabbos scrubby that's very open that you could use. The ones that have the netting that is very wide netting and it's made out of nylon, plastic that does not absorb any water. So that could be done. So now what happens if you have your knives, spoons, and forks and they are in the drying rack? So you put all the spoons, knives, and forks in the drying rack. So now you have a mixture because they're all together in the compartment in the drying rack. Yes? You know what a drying rack is? After you finish washing, some people put their, okay, so in the drying rack, there's a compartment for knives, spoons, and forks. You put them all together. Now you have a mixture. So what could you do with this? Can you set the table Friday night? Can we use it? We're going to be eating Shabbos day. Can you set the table Friday night from this mixture?
No, it's not right now.
Separating a mixture for later use, even if it's for Shabbat, is a malacha. Is a malacha. Even though you're going to be using everything, but you're not using it now, it's separating a mixture for for later use is a malacha, is forbidden.
But if in my house, there's the food, knife, and forks are not separate, are separated, I can prepare.
That you can, yeah, because there's no malacha.
Right.
Now, so what could you do? What you could do is when you're washing your knife, spoons, and forks that you're going to be using tomorrow, when you're washing them, you could take and wash 2-3 spoons. You have them in your hand. It's not a mixture. You're washing them. Once it's in your hand, you could dry them and put them away. So you never made a mixture to begin with. It's only when you take everything, you're washing it, and you just stack it in. Now you made it into a mixture. But if it was not a mixture to begin with, you don't have a mixture to begin with. Same thing is also what happens over here. Okay, I have sfalim on the table. Is this a mixture? Is this a mixture?
No.
Because
Everything is
everything is separate. The same thing is also going to be if you have your knife, spoons, and forks on the table and they're spread out like this. No mixture. It's only when they're together that they become a mixture. So if you wash your knife, spoons, and forks and you put, after you finish with them, you put each one on the table like this. It's not a mixture. And now when you want to, whatever you want to do with them, you could do with them because it's not a mixture.
You can have them like, what do you call it, on a towel.
Mixture, that the towel unites them.
Mixture.
The towel unites them, yes. Now, our fourth category is a pile of coats. You went to a simcha? Everybody puts their coats on top of somebody's couch. You have all the coats. Now, since they're all piled one on top of the other, that is a mixture. So, Wendy, what do you do about your coats? What do you do about your coats?
What if they're hung up?
Okay. Now, this is a little controversial when it comes to a closet. So if you have 2 or 3 coats there, then again, it's not a mixture. It's just like being on the table, everything's separate. But if it's a closet that's really packed together, that makes it into one unit. And the rule is take what you want and leave what you don't want behind.
So like even if someone comes and then like to your house or kiddish and you hang up their coat, that's mixture.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with them taking their coat when they're ready to leave. You take what you want when you're ready to use it. From a mixture, taking what you want when you're ready to use it is not a malacha.
Oh,
That is permissible. So when they're ready to leave, they take their coat and they go.
okay.
You could bring their coat for them as well, because you're taking what you want.
What if someone gives you a coat from their mixture of coats because you don't have a coat?
Oh, that's fine. You're using it. As long as you use it, that's fine.
But you're only using it for a little.
Doesn't make a difference. It becomes, you're making use of it. You're making use of it. So again, when it comes to, so now we have the pile of clothes, of coats, when you're ready to leave. So if you see a coat, pull your coat out. What happens if you don't see your coat in orange? You take whatever is on top, remove that in order to get to what you want. That's called peeling. That's fine. So you're trying to get to what you want. That would be permissible. So now going back again to our closet, you have your dresses that are there. So if you only have 2 dresses there, so it's not a mixture, you take whenever you want your dress and you'll choose it. What happens if it is a packed closet? So we consider that like a mixture. Same thing is going to be in a drawer. Whatever's inside the drawer becomes like one mixture, becomes one unit. So then you could take what you want when you're ready to use it. What you could not do is Friday night, choose an outfit for Shabbos day. You could look at it, but not to take it out and put, some people are very orderly, they put their things out for the next day so they don't have to choose, they choose everything before. So in this case, you have to wait until Shabbat by day and then take what you want. If you take something out and then you see that it's wrinkled, you don't want to use it, that was fine. When you took it out, you wanted to use it. So then you could put it back. You could take something else, as long as when it goes according to your intention. If your intention is to wear it, that's fine.
And if you want to try something,
Fine. As long as you want to use it. If it turn you try, you cannot do it Friday. When you're ready to wear it, that's when you take it. Okay. Now, same is also going to be with peeling oranges, peeling eggs. All of this has to be done when you're ready to eat it. You cannot peel onions or garlic Shabbos morning that you're going to be having for lunch. That cannot be done. It's for a later time. Whenever you're preparing for this meal, then it could be done for the meal, but not for a later time. So it's understood with the peeling oranges. When you're ready to eat the orange, when you peel the orange.
Saying about the knife and the leaves, yes, when you are washing them, she washed all together.
o sea, yo los agarro de la mesa todos juntos.
Everything is together. So now you're going to. So then you're going to tomorrow when you're going to be ready to use it, take what you want. Put everything away in the drawer and just dump it in. But to take each one separately, that cannot be done.
I washed all together, but
So then you just leave it. You leave it all together. You do not separate it. When you're ready to use it tomorrow morning, then you take what you want and don't leave what you don't want behind.
If I leave the onion peeled, but not cut, because the onions have like
Shell.
I don't know how to say.
Shell.
Yeah. No, not shell. The
Layer.
layers.
Layers, yes.
Layers. Those layers. If I can cut Friday night for Saturday, or if I let them peel.
So it matters. So firstly, if you peel them,
Cut them.
right now, right? So peeling can only be done when you're ready to use them. You cannot peel them Friday night for Shabbos day.
No, but Friday morning.
Friday you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Friday there's no limitation on Friday. Before Shabbat you can do whatever you wish because it's nothing to do with the malacha. It's only on Shabbat itself that we are concerned of when you're going to do it. Now, now there are some things that are not considered a mixture. A solid and a liquid that is big is not considered a mixture. And then you're not restricted. As long as you're going to use it for Shabbat, it is permissible. So let's take an example. You have hard-boiled eggs that you cooked and it's in the water. Is that considered a mixture? The water and the hard-boiled eggs, is that a mixture?
No, because the shell.
Because they're each one separately. We don't consider it as a mix together. It's not the same as a salad. Each one, it's very distinct. The liquid and the egg is two separate things, not mixed together.
they are not attached.
The same thing is so then you could take them out of the water Friday night, put them in the refrigerator. You're going to use them tomorrow for shalashudis. That's fine because you did not separate a mixture because it was not a mixture. Same is also going to be when you have your big chicken portions in the soup. The chicken and the soup are two separate things. It's not considered mixed together. So if you want to take out the big pieces of chicken from the soup and put that in the refrigerator separately, that is permissible because this chicken and the soup are two separate things. But that's considered a mixture. If you have small pieces of vegetables in the soup, that's a mixture. If you had the noodles in the soup, pasta in the soup, that's a mixture because they're small and they're mixed together with the soup. There, you could only take what you want when you're ready to use it, not for an earlier time. Now, now we have another question. Now we know that separating from a liquid is also a malacha, from the liquid itself. If you have something that is in the liquid that you don't want, separating that out, that is a malacha, that is baram. So now we have something that's called a filter. We have a filter in our sinks. You realize that in the kitchen sink in America, we have something that's attached to the faucet and it filters the water. Do you realize that? When you open up in America, the faucet, it's not pouring out straight. It goes like inside the filter. There is charcoal, there are screens, and they make your water better. Are you allowed to use that on Shabbat? And are there times when you cannot use it on Shabbat? So the answer would be that would you drink it without the filter? Is the water clean water? Your water. Some places in South America, there is sand in the water.
Yes.
When you open the faucet, sand comes out. Can you drink that water? No. So putting a filter on that sink cannot be done on Shabbat because you are filtering the water, taking out the sand and making it possible to drink. That cannot be done on Shabbat. What you have to do is you have to prepare the drinking water on Friday for all of Shabbat. Yeah.
It's just simply faucet, like has like multiple different things coming out, little holes like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it doesn't have one?
No, it's fine. You can drink it. If you want to drink the water, you drink the water, fine. But we're speaking about what about perfecting the water, filtering the water? So if the water is drinkable as is, then there is no issue. If the water is not drinkable, then you could not filter the water on Shabbat.
So you're talking about like a separate.
You have Brita. You fill up a pitcher and you have in it, some people like to have filtered water. Can you use the Brita on Shabbos? And the answer is, it matters what water you're putting in. If you would drink the water as is without the Brita filter, then you could put the Brita filter in and use the filtered water on Shabbat. If it's such water that you cannot drink because it has a chlorine smell or whatever else it is, it's something that you would not drink that water because it's not drinkable to you, then you cannot use that filter of water. You have to filter it before Shabbat. But like this, you're allowed to take fresh water in the pitcher. You have the Brita inside, and you pour from the Brita. That's fine. There's no issue with it because it is drinkable water.
But it's still separating though. You're still separating.
There's nothing. It's not something that is visibly separated. It's not something that's a waste that you actually are able to say that this is waste and this is something that's going to be thrown away. It's just filtering it and refining it further down. That is fine. So now we have to still cover how to feed a baby. So generally, we still have two topics really to cover with this. One would be what is considered the same and what is considered different. You have oranges, clementine, and tangerines. Is that a mixture?
I don't know the difference.
In a
between
bowl?
Clementine and
Clementine, tangerine, orange, they all have different taste. They are different. That's a mixture. That is a mixture. You have in a bowl, you have in a tray, you have cooked, fried, and baked items. That is considered a mixture because they all have different taste. You have in a bowl, you have different kinds of challah. You have whole wheat rolls. You have the water challah. You have egg and tastes. The whole wheat and the egg challah and the water challah are all different. So if you have different rolls, you take what you want and you leave what you don't want behind. You could serve somebody what they're asking for. You only take what you want. So we still have to cover, we'll cover what is considered same kind, what is considered separate kind, being able to take out bones and pits and all these things. So this is our next lesson is going to be that with one more lesson on this. So this is on page 123 until 123 through 142 is what we're going to finish this and start the next malach. So we'll be going on to 143 as well. So I think we will have one more lesson on this and all your questions that you have. Okay. Let's see who it would be. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so welcome. You're here for a short time, or you're here for a short time? It's like a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've learned these halachot in.
Yes, but maybe in Sephardim it's a different.
Okay,
So
okay, which country?
Argentina.
Argentina. Okay, very good. So welcome.
Thank you so much.